Welcome to this week's workshop where we're going to learn how to see your user journey inside of Google Analytics 4. Welcome, my name is Julie Brody, the Director of Measurement for MeasurementMarketing.io. Been building actual dashboards for a really long time, and sometimes we know we just need to really quickly get into whatever platform we're using and be able to get a dashboard out to really understand it. And that's what we're going to do today. And as we go through this, remember the one thing rule, and that is don't try to grab everything we're going to tell you today. Just grab one thing, take it and apply it, and maybe tomorrow try something else. So let's go ahead and get started with how to see your user journey in GA4. Let's go ahead and see inside of Google Analytics 4. So we're going to pretend this is a cooking show, and I'm showing you the final result before you get to see how we're going to make the cake. So this is the cake of what you're going to end up if you follow the steps that we're about to go through. And so what we're able to do is customize and see how our users are going through a very particular user journey inside of our site. And so we're able to see if they go from one page to the next. We're able to see if they go from that second page to the third and the third page to the fourth. And we're able to see it break down by different traffic sources. So if I wanted to only see a source of, let's say, this GA4 one, GA4 word, and see what happened there with that for referral traffic, we can go through and check that out there. And this is just a great way if you just pop up a new funnel or a new user journey and you haven't created a long-term dashboard like in Looker Studio or whatever platform you're using. And this is just a really quick and dirty way to get some answers while you are in the process of building a better dashboard in whatever platform you're using. So let's go ahead and figure out how in the world do we make this? Well, you can come over to your explorations. And we're going to go ahead and choose a blank one. We're going to start from fresh. And we're going to ignore this first section for just a moment. We're going to talk about this settings tab. And there are lots of other trainings and even courses that we have back there that go into all these different parts and pieces in detail. But for today and for this particular training, we're just going to focus on what you need to get in and get out to get to see how your user journey is performing. So we're going to choose funnel exploration, and then we're going to come down and choose our steps. Now, this particular method is going to work no matter how you have Google Analytics set up, because we're going to use the thing called page location. So if you're not using Google Tag Manager, this still works for you. If you are using Google Tag Manager, this still works for you. So no matter how you have Google Analytics set up, it's going to work for you in this particular way. So that's the reason why we wanted to show it to you. So no matter how you have it set up, this can work. So we're going to keep it as contained just to keep our logic a little bit more open. And then we are able to say, here's our first step. And then we're going to add another step. And again, choose page location. And I just have a little sticky note with the different URLs on here. And I'm just going to copy and paste, probably exactly like what you would have as well, or have some sort of whiteboard tool and have a funnel user journey going through and seeing all the different pages and stuff. However you have the URLs, maybe it's in a spreadsheet. We used to do that too. Everything was in a spreadsheet. And now, here we go. We're going to paste. We got one more, and then we're going to clean this up just a little bit. So copy. And we're going to come over here and change the word to page location. And then we come in and paste. All right, now we have our different steps here. And this is going to be whatever's going to be useful for you and whoever's going to use the report. If this is 100% for you, then you could probably keep it whatever makes sense to you. If it's like going to be seen by your client or maybe someone who may not be as familiar with this particular user journey, then you probably need to spell it out a little bit better. So I didn't realize this one didn't take. So we're going to go ahead here, and this is why this little handy dandy apply button is really important, because you don't want to just ignore it and then you have that blank like we just did. So circling back to our names, we have, this one is, we're going to call this Toolbox Offer Page. And if we want to keep the names just a little bit more cleaner and shorter, because as you saw, we're kind of a little bit limited on space, we could just see Toolbox Offer. And then we can say toolbox TY for toolbox thank you page if you want to, because this one is actually a thank you page and an upsell, like a tripwire type offer. And so we're going to say Toolbox Plus Tracking Leads and Sales Masterclass offer is what that one is. And this one is a cart. And this is where you'd use your verbiage. Is it a checkout? Is it an order form? Is it whatever it is? Use your verbiage. And then this one is the upsell. I'm going to say actually purchase / upsell because it's technically both. And so that way, if anyone who's not as familiar with understanding if they got to the upsell, they did the first purchase, but that way we can kind of let them know. And so now it's going to kind of do its thing here. And technically here we are done. We can go through the next step and be able to see it in the reports where we were just at. However, if you want to be able to kind of slice and dice it and see this information in a more useful way, there's a couple of different things you want to be able to do. And one of those is adding in dimensions. And so this is where you can go add in your session source, the medium, the campaign. Maybe you want term and content, or you want device category. You want those type of things so you can kind of figure out maybe if mobile converts better than desktop, or if there's a drop off on one versus the other. So you just choose those and import. And so now we have these guys here and we have this, but as we do with every single one of our dashboards, we always have the question WTF. Yes, I just said it, WTF. And that stands for where's the forecast? Because if we don't have a forecast, if we don't understand where we're supposed to go, then it doesn't really give it context. We have no idea if this 30% is good or not. We have no idea if this 19% is good or not. We have no idea. So what we like to do is come back in and we're going to kind of hack the system. And what we would expect from going from the first step to the second, we would kind of expect it to be like an opt-in conversion rate. So that'd probably be 30 to 40%. So in this one right here, because of the way the data is displayed, I'm going to tell you this is where you want to put it, and you'll see why in a moment. And so you can put forecast, or if you use the word goal, you can do that too. WTG doesn't sound as exciting because that's another word for way to go, but we want to do WTF, where's the forecast, because it's going to help you remember. And so we're going to say 30 to 40%. Now, because this is an offer page and this is a cart page, we would say probably we can just say 8 to 10% would get from this step to this step. And I need to put the word forecast in here. So forecast. And there we go. I want to make sure I'm using the right format. Are we using colons or are we using hyphens? So we're using colons here. And then the final one of cart to purchase, we're going to say a forecast of 40 to 50%. So if you're thinking in opposite terms of cart abandonment rate, that's 50 to 60%. So whichever it is that works for you, but this is, you probably want the conversion rate of cart into the purchase, and you'll see why here in just a moment. So let's go ahead and press apply. Ooh, we need a colon in there for consistency. Here we go. All right, now we press apply. And so here we have our numbers alongside with our forecast. And so if you're not familiar with what all of this means inside of your exploration, I'm going to zoom in just a wee bit so we can kind of walk through what it is we're seeing here. So this is the number of users that started this journey in this date range. This is another really important thing for you to look at, because maybe these two pages only existed in this past 7 days. And these two have been around for a while, thus the conversion rate from step 2 to step 3 is inaccurate because and incorrect, not very useful, because if these two are brand new pages. So just be aware of that. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and change it to the month of June because those are brand new pages for this instance. So we're going to go ahead and adjust a little bit. And so now what we're seeing here is this is the number of users that started the journey, and this is the number of users that completed this step, which just happens to be the same number as here, because this number is the number of people that started the journey and then got to this step. So in this case, this number 7, the number 7 is the number of people that started the journey and got to this step. So they had to do step 2, then got to step 3. So they can't skip it. If you wanted them to be able to skip it, you can flip this little toggle, and that's a little bit, those are very, very different questions that you're answering there. But if you want to know if they went straight through, keep it as not a open funnel. So this number is looking at that 7 from that 143, and same thing, this 2 from the 143. And then, again, over here, this 28% is how many people go through the cart. So the cart is converting at 28%, however, and then the abandonment rate is at 71%. So remember what our forecast was. It's not showing up here, but our forecast, if we come right here, is 40 to 50%. So very quickly we would know, like, hey, this one right here is converting from the sales page, the second offer page to the cart is converting where it's supposed to, but the cart to the purchase is not actually converting. So that's where we would want to look. Very, very quickly we would know. And technically this one is still, a little bit outside of the realm too. So we can look at different traffic sources and stuff too. We can come in here and say, hey, which traffic source is doing what or not doing something that we're expecting them to. And you can always break that down there as well. Again, there's lots of other different trainings talking about how to use this and all kind of other different things that we would be able to use it for. I didn't go through all of the details, just wanted to kind of give you a quick and dirty version of this so you can have a report. So we're going to go ahead and name this workshop example. And you're going to say this is going to be a product B. We're just going to name it that way. So what we're going to now do is we have this option to save as report in the library. And the reason we want to do that is because explorations are only visible to whoever you are logged in as. Now what that means is if I wanted to share this report with Mercer, this thing right here, he could not come into this account and come to this account in this property and see this. I can go through and share, but as you can see, it's read only, meaning he doesn't have the option to come here and adjust the dates or, do the breakdown by source medium campaign. He couldn't do any of that. All he would have is this stuff right here, and it was frozen. That's all he could do was look at it. And that may not be useful, especially if it's an ongoing type of user journey and he wants to be able to change dates or kind of dig deeper if there's ads and stuff. So the reports, however, can be used by anybody that has access to this property, and they can slice and dice like we just saw before. So what we want to do is this option, and it's only for funnel explorations, is this to save as a report in the library. And so this is the reason why we chose a very particular name, is because it's showing that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this extra piece, and we're just going to save. And then it's saying, hey, save the report in the library. We can click here, and it's going to take us to this spot called the library. But in case you weren't fast enough, I'm going to show you how to get there. You're going to click on reports, and then you're going to choose library. Again, there's lots of other different trainings and courses out there on the library, but just know that, this is probably one that you're used to seeing, and this one is you're used to seeing, and they're called collections. You might be used to seeing life cycle as well, and all we have to do is hit the publish button, and life cycle is now there again. I'm going to go ahead and unpublish it to keep it nice and clean. And what you're seeing here is actually what you had seen before, this example report here. And what we did was we created our own collection. And this is another pro tip for you, is that whenever you are building out reports and creating custom reports, you can create your own collection. Like, let's say you're an agency or your own department. And so that way it's easy for you to find your reports, and you're not interfering or customizing anything that maybe another vendor or your client might be using. And so we'll kind of talk about that here in a moment to kind of show you what that means. So we created a new collection. We went through those different steps, and then what we did was add that report to there. So what we're going to do is come over to our ABC agency. We're going to choose to edit it. We have one report here, but let's say we want to create a new topic and say product B, apply. And then I'm going to look for product B workshop example, and we're just going to drop our report here and save to current collection. I don't want a new one. And that's all it does. And now we have to hit the back button because it doesn't take us where we were just at. But now we see product A and product B. Actually, what I would probably do is make sure the names were very similar so it wasn't confusing on that. So it's very consistent there. But remember how I said that you can, come through and customize your reports. So this is what I was referring to. So you can come through and customize these different reports. Let's say you wanted to make this as the default, which I don't know why, but you would want to make that one the default, and you can save. Actually, you have to press the apply button, then you save, and you could save to the current report, which is exactly where you're at. And again, everyone has access to it, everyone can see it, and if someone, this is the default report, so someone might be using them if there's a lot of people in there. Or you can save as a new report and follow the steps we just did and put it under your product A, your product B, or your section for yourself. And so that's another pro tip for you. And so now you have your own custom report for this toolbox journey. You can go through, adjust the dates. You can go through and adjust your source medium. You can go through and kind of see which one might be performing better, one versus the other. And the best part is anyone on your team can come in here and see this as well very quickly. So maybe you're going on vacation and you don't have time to get a Looker Studio report, but they needed to see how the user journey is performing and be able to kind of slice and dice this. This will take you about 5 minutes to do, and you're good to go. And they can get their answers, and you can train the team on how this is supposed to work and how this is supposed to look, and all of that. And they can also choose the option to have a closed funnel versus open funnel. There. And also one pro tip, you can see that there's no edit symbol here, but on this other one there is. So it seems like Google is rolling out the option to edit your reports, going through the same thing that we did before, because previously if you did this kind of customized funnel, as you can see like what we did with product B, the one we did just now, you've never been able to edit it. However, very recently, when I was doing this example last week for a presentation, this guy popped up. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So just know that it's probably rolling out, and eventually that'll be just the standard thing where you can do that, which is unbelievably useful, because let's say we forgot to put device category in here. We would have to go circle around and make it, go remake the report again, or add it to it and go through our steps again. So just know that that is a huge improvement and going to be really useful once it's out to everybody in every single type of report. So there you have it. This is your final cake. We showed you how to go through and build it, and how useful it is, and how you can use it as a replacement for a Looker Studio report in the short term as you're kind of building it, or you just so you can get really quick answers and see how the user journey is performing. I have one more pro tip that I feel a lot of people don't realize that they're doing. Ad people do this without even thinking about it when they go inside to Facebook or Google Ads or something like that. But however, when we go into Google Analytics, we kind of forget this. And the biggest mistake that people use when they're using Google Analytics 4 is they come into Google Analytics 4 expecting the answers to pop out at you. That is the wrong way to do this. And again, ads people don't do this when they use, or they shouldn't do this when they use Facebook, Google Ads, and these other platforms, because they are going into their platform with a question so they can take action, kind of putting yourself into the ad person's shoes. They would go into Facebook to see, is this ad or this ad set or this particular image or this thing, is it working? And they already have a forecast in mind. So the cost per click should be less than this, or if it's less than this, I probably want to put more spin behind it, or if it's higher than this, I need to make an adjustment. They already know exactly what they should be doing based off of the results they're going to see. They know exactly what to do. And however, when you get to Google Analytics 4, we don't go in with a question. We hope something is going to reach out to us and tell us what to do. So when you are going into Google Analytics 4, kind of think through that, put your ad person's hat on, and so that way you can go in there with a question to take action. So overall, the biggest mistake is there is no measurement strategy. And that's actually what ended up leading us to creating the measurement marketing framework. So it starts out where you have 3 stages, or 3 steps, excuse me, where you go from being able to market in the blind, where this is that stuff where you don't know what's working and what is, and it's all chaotic. You're throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping something sticks, to being able to reliably grow those revenue and profits. And it all starts with the plan, and this is where those questions come in. Questions. What questions do you have? The information you need, and the actions you're going to take. Everything I just mentioned about the ads people when they go into the platforms is exactly what they're doing without even thinking about it. And that's the reason why they are so successful at what they do if they're doing it that way. They know what questions they have, they know what information they need, and they know what actions they're going to take based off that information. They know if they're going to increase ad spend or go through and try something else. They know exactly what they need to do. But why don't we do this with all of our other marketing efforts? So we're going to take that, and then we're going to continue to build where we understand the results, the traffic, and the story, so we can tie all those together to launch where we listen, forecast, and optimize. And we're going to cycle through that over and over and over again as we continue to level up our measurement. Most of us just jump straight into the optimize with not even thinking about any of the other stuff. And so, or they get stuck in one part and not continuing on. And so this is the piece that has been missing for so many people, including ads people, because they don't get the whole picture. And so if you want to know more about this, we'll tell you about how to get a free course in just a second. So what was your one thing? I would love to hear about it in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you back with us again. And if you want that free course I just mentioned, you can hit up the Measurement Marketing Academy page at measure.tips/getacademy, and you can see all the different courses and options we have there. Or if you just want the free course, choose that option there for you as well. And so that was how to see you use your journey in GA4. We'll see you next time.